Today's video is brought to you by ablmerch.com. Use promo code 1776 to get 20% off your next order. And we have those I Survived the Pandemic hats, t-shirts, stickers, mugs, and more through the link in the description box below. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the new pandemic, whatever you want to call it, and that is the epidemic of understaffing, of a lack of staff, of businesses closing, not because they don't have the work, not because they don't have the foot traffic, but because they don't have enough employees to fill the jobs because of the federal government interfering. Like I've said many times before, a small business cannot compete with the Federal Reserve Bank and the money machine. As long as the government keeps printing and spending money to give to people for free for doing nothing, it's going to be very hard for your regular everyday business to compete. Now, before I even go down this rabbit hole, I want to roll this clip because it's not just me saying it. It's not just my anecdotal observation. This is a real thing that's happening all over the nation. After we get done watching that, I'll talk about what was said there. Then I give you the rest of my 2 cents, my deep, detailed analysis, and then I wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Out to eat recently, you may have noticed a sign similar to this one right here. Restaurants and businesses are short-staffed and can't find people to fill open positions. Owners tell us one aspect of the pandemic is making it harder to find workers. Sabrina Majore shows us that and what businesses are doing to get around these staffing gaps.
It's a problem that started before the pandemic, finding workers to help turn this pile of wood into finished product.
The pandemic has made it a lot worse.
John Biggs says he can't find the labor to work in his shop, operating these machines and putting products together.
We had one employee to just quit, says I can make more at home.
John says his wages are competitive for the industry. At $12 an hour, it's well above Tennessee's minimum wage of $7.25. It's not just the wood gallery that's looking for employees to help get finished products like these. It's something owners are saying they're struggling with across different industries. Whether it's truck drivers at U.S. Express.
We have a real issue today with finding employees. I think everybody's struggling with finding employees. People don't seem to want to work in this environment.
Or restaurants that are putting up signs like these.
We don't have the people.
Ribbon Loin even closed their dining room for the day because only 2 people showed up for work this morning.
If they can draw more unemployment than they can make in a paycheck.
And so they said they prefer to do that?
Mm-hmm.
But despite some businesses struggling, experts say the increased benefits of unemployment outweigh the negatives.
So you have to step back and look at this on a macro basis. There's still that many people that are still out of work, and the economy is not back enough for them to get a job.
And with some jobs less attractive to people because of COVID dangers, he says employers should consider upping wages.
The minimum wage is at a very low level in many states. So, that's a problem.
Reporting in Chattanooga, I'm Sabrina Majore.
A federal pandemic compensation says people can receive an additional $300 on top of the typical unemployment payments. That's down from $600, which was offered when the pandemic began.
All right, you saw that, you heard that. Now, I've been saying that for quite a long time. Right when they were talking about giving this extra money for, the unemployment benefits, I'm like, okay, that's going to be a problem. See, when the unemployment thing first happened, it made sense. All right. People could not work. They were forced to stay home. So, all right, meanwhile, I still have bills to pay. I still got to eat. I still got to take care of things. And you tell me I can't go to work. So if I'm going to file unemployment, since you, the government, are requiring that I stay home, you're shutting down my business, you got to give me some money to be able to compensate, right? So that made sense back then. That's when they had the $600 unemployment benefit coming from the federal government. And I think that was going to stack on what the state would give you. So, for example, if the state would give you $300 a week for unemployment, you could combine that with the $600 per week and get $900 per week. A lot of money. But again, it made sense to give something from the government because they were telling you, you can't work, you got to stay home. That made sense. But now That's still going on, although it's not 600, it's 300. That's still way too much because, again, you can stack that with whatever the state gives you. So let's just say, for example, in Georgia, you may have the 300 from the federales, from the federal government, and then 300 more from the state of Georgia. That's $600 per week in unemployment benefits. That's $2,400 per month. That's quite a bit of money, right? And people are saying, you know what, rather than going to work and not making that much money from working 40 hours a week or however long they work, I'm going to just stay home and collect that. I mean, it's a crazy thing, but it makes sense to a lot of people. Why work hard, fingers to the bone, when I can make more by not working? The government is incentivizing laziness. It's not a matter of, well, it's the virus and it's dangerous, all this, that, and the third. That's not really the case because everybody trusts the science, right? It trusts the science and they trust in these vaccines, and people are still wearing masks inside these businesses. So if you got the shot and or the mask and people have their mask on, what's the problem? Why are you not being able to come to work? You're not scared of the virus anymore. They've been able to, quote unquote, fix it from the vaccine, allegedly from what I'm reading. So the real problem is not people are afraid. They just want to stay home and make more money. Now, some are going to say, hey, ABL, how about the businesses that cannot get enough employees to come work? How about they raise their pay? $7.25 is way too low. That's slave wage as well. A lot of these companies are paying $12, $13, $14, $15 an hour. Okay. How much should they raise their wage to? What's the magic number to get everybody to come back to work? Now, I worked at a place called Old Country Buffet back when I was like 21. I worked there from my senior year in high school up until the end of college. So I was like 21 when I left. When I left, I made $8 an hour, and I would get about 40 hours a week, like 38 hours, but about 40 hours a week. My take-home pay after taxes and everything were deducted was $800 a month. So $200 per week. And I would go hard to get it $200 a week. I'm talking about super hard. I'd be in there early. I'm working real fast. I'm doing everything. If you want to call me in, take over a shift, I'm going to do it. It didn't matter if it was all day on a Saturday, Sunday, open to close. I'm in there because I was going hard. I was doing that and other things. I was doing my graphic design, but that's a different story. Anyway, $800 per month with a wage of $8 per hour at 40 hours a week. Now, $16 an hour with them same parameters, the same kind of taxes and everything, same hours per week. That'd get me $1,600 a month. I've still not reached the example I gave earlier of Georgia with 300 federal and 300 state. That's $2,400 a month. I need to make $24 an hour to get to the $2,400 a month after taxes. $24 an hour. So is that not a lot of money? Even the guy in California was saying, $23 an hour should be the new minimum. So people talking about, oh, they got to pay more. Well, how much? $24 an hour? You know how much money that is? That's a crazy amount of money. And then the thing is, even if you do pay 24, 25, 26 an hour, maybe I'll stay home because I'm able to make the equivalent of $24 an hour by doing nothing. What's the point in making an extra $100 a month, $200 a month, when I can stay home and get just a little bit less, and then I'm straight? No stress, no working hard, no calluses on my hands. I'm good. So the problem with the understaffing is the government is giving out way too much free money, and it's like no strings attached. Oh, you could just get this money without having to look for employment because all they say is that they need a good excuse or a decent excuse. And the excuse is, well, hey, I'm scared of the virus. So as long as you can say I'm scared of the virus and I can't go back, you're still able to get unemployment benefits. And that's a problem. And you know, the end result, people talking about, oh, they got to raise the wages. Oh, the wages are raising, but guess what's raising as well? The price of goods and services. When you go to the store and you buy a thing and you're getting less of that thing for the same price or a little bit more, you may not even see it, but it's going to start to add up. It'll creep up on you. Okay, you're buying paper towels. You might get 200 cubic feet. I'm making up a number. You might get 200 feet of it, but then they reduce it to 160 cubic feet. So you're still paying the same price, but you're getting a little bit less product, but enough less to where the people that are selling it are able to make money still. When you go to the gas station, you're paying more at the pump. When you go to a particular food place, they're giving you smaller portions. I mean, and they do things like that kind of on the low to reduce their costs so they can keep prices the same. And then eventually you're going to see prices creep up and up and up and up. That's called inflation. And at the end of it, when inflation really hits a peak or it gets to the point where it's noticeable, those that have been on unemployment for a long time are not going to be able to be on it anymore, because by that time it'll be expired. Now you got to go out there and work. Now, if I'm going to vote, I'm going to vote for the guy that says we're going to have less regulations, less government intervention in your lives. That'd be the best way to go about it, because with more government intervention, you have more regulations, things become expensive, and you're going to have a California type situation where you either have the thing or you don't have the thing, with no real in between. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about the minimum wage argument, the higher wage argument, and the federal government being the reason why there are so many job vacancies? The guys in the video talking about, oh, well, you know, the government, the economy's still not back the way it's supposed to be. There are plenty of jobs out there. Everywhere you go, all over the country. Help wanted, help wanted, help wanted, help wanted. What's the point in working a job for $15 an hour even if you're able to get almost double that by not working? What's the point? People need to understand we have to disincentivize unemployment and laziness. You got to incentivize employment. I think I saw a plan where they're giving out bonuses to those who actually come to work. They're going to cut the unemployment benefit and give the benefit to you by giving you more money to come work. That makes the most sense. Incentivize work rather than incentivizing laziness and a lack of working. That can't be the way forward. It cannot. And I think it could be kind of an on-purpose thing, because at the end of it, if some of these politicos say, you know what, we don't have enough people to fill these jobs, restaurants and wood shops and construction, we're going to bring in a bunch of more visa workers. We're going to give these illegal aliens work visas, even though they didn't go about it the right way. We give it to them anyway. You're going to see that kind of stuff happening. And we don't want to go in that direction. We don't want to reward illegality, but it's trending in that direction. And it can be stopped if the government wants it to. All they got to do is cut off these payments. But do they want to? Is there an ulterior motive? Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.